Are you aware of, and do you deliberately employ very classical techniques such as themes and variations and extensive counterpoint? Many of the tracks capture a Chopin-esque vibe or even Debussy-esque as well. Did you want this album to have a classical flavor? Was this deliberate?
I definitely was looking towards my classical background for a lot of the approaches that I would take to the music. I wanted to show some broad kind of approach to the music and take Dream Theater's melodies and put them into different kind of formats. So yeah, I would definitely make a point of making something very Chopin-like, and sometimes try to have a Brahmsian approach to something. I think that what happens is, similar to the way Dream Theater is, where our style of music is a real combination of so many different elements. My piano playing by itself has that nature to it. To 1 second I could be playing something that's kind of jazzy, like a Scott Joplin thing, and the next second I'm doing something that's a little bit like a Mozart thing, or Chopin, or Debussy. There's so much music that's rolling through my brain, and especially when I'm kind of improvising, depending on what's kind of coming into my head, different things will come out. The improvisation thing is something I've worked on for so long, to be able to express myself and take an idea, just be able to just play it. So yeah, the classical approach, the idea of having different styles blended in, is something that I wanted to do, and that comes kind of naturally to me.
What statement are you trying to make about Dream Theater's music? Is it possible that it stands up without all the metal elements, showing that the compositions are solid and don't rely on production?
I'm trying to show on this album that the melodies that Dream Theater has written through the years are melodies that can be taken into so many different musical contexts and really work so well. I think that a lot of people miss out on hearing Dream Theater's music because they might get turned off by some metal element or one of the elements that are part of Dream Theater, where other people obviously can be jumping up and down and so excited. We miss a lot of people because of what the kind of thing that we do as a band. But music is that funny kind of thing where a melody can be put into a heavy metal context, and then you can take it out and see, wow, that's a really beautiful melody. So for me, in my 10 years with Dream Theater, I've enjoyed playing all the music so much, but some of the ballads just strike me as really beautiful, and I love to play them, and I enjoy sitting there and playing them on the piano. So my hope is that this album can touch people who wouldn't ordinarily listen to Dream Theater, but can really appreciate and enjoy this new approach to their music.
The Dream Theater album Metropolis Part 2, Scenes from a Memory, has a special place in many Dream Theater fans' hearts. Given that you played 2 tracks from this work on your album, does that album hold a special place for you as well?
That album really does. Scenes from a Memory was the first album that I did with Dream Theater. It's when I joined the group, and it was a very inspirational time for all of us. We were starting something new. The energy, was just really, really strong. We were excited about what we were doing, and I can understand why that album is an important album in Dream Theater fans' lives. I kind of want to say what's funny about that is that a lot of times people will discover something, like you'll discover a group. Like, let's say you discover Dream Theater, and the first album you listen to is Scenes from a Memory. Well, then it's going to be very difficult for Dream Theater to make an album that will have the same kind of impact on you. So a lot of people say, well, Scenes from a Memory was the best album, it's it's my favorite. And a lot of times that same album is the one that you were first exposed to the group, and that's where you got turned on to the style or the band. But anyway, for me, and it's all understandable, but for me that album is definitely special because of the timing in my life. And a song like Spirit Carries On, we could play that just night after night, and the vibe in the room is just so, like supportive and passionate. That song has a really large effect on people. So that was a really important song to put on this album.
How long did the album take to record?
The length of time the album took to record, well, it was not done in one absolutely consistent passage of time. I would say altogether, you know, a few weeks or month of just getting in there and just working on the arrangements and making this happen. But of course in my life things are very busy. There's a Dream Theater World Tour coming up, there's a Dream Theater album coming up, a lot of things going on. So whenever I could, I would get into my studio and work on this.
You close your album with the song The Grand Escapement that rivals or surpasses any of the great pianistic works recorded by Keith Emerson. Did you intend to pepper track 12 with some Emerson-esque flavors?
Well, first of all, Keith Emerson is one of my biggest influences in my musical life, so we can't say that it surpassed anything. But, however, it's a nice compliment. I wanted to make this album something that would not only be an album of Jordan Rudess playing ballads, but I think because, you know, I'm a Dream Theater member, there's a certain expectation of, dare I say, virtuosity, or that kind of thing, you know, for this album. So I wanted to make sure that I offered something that was not only just flowing piano gentle, but also had some guts to it, and some balls and chunk, kind of, it's piano, but something that had a harder edge to it and was very progressive. And the Grand Escapement is kind of like that piece. I really wanted to, like, you know, put in some like Prokofiev type of progressive stylings, you know, a little bit of Bartók in there, and you know, some like Emerson-esque type of ideas. There's a place in the song where I'm doing this cool ostinato kind of bass line, and the right hand is just going wild playing some other stuff. So there's a lot of influences caught into that one song, but it's all kind of like upbeat and crazy and wild and moving fast. So I tried to make that one, you know, a bit of a progressive journey. So and I like the way it turned out. It's definitely going to be fun for people to hear that one.
Do you have any intentions of performing any of these improvisations live in concert at any point in the future?
Well, I would like to do some of this in concert. It would be great. I actually went on tour a couple of years ago and I did some piano concerts of playing a lot of my favorite progressive rock melodies. I went out with a group called Blackfield and my buddy Stephen Wilson, and we did some things where I would come on and open up the show. So, and that was really fun, and I would love to go out and play some more solo piano shows at some point, for sure.